What happened to the good old days? MySpace.
Yeah, when you couldn't fill out your top 7, Tom had to stay in there for.
I kept Tom. I was just afraid Tom was watching, dude. I was like, if he's looking, I want him to know
Tom,
he's.
this is your deal. I know it's
Yeah.
called MySpace, but
You're in the top. You're in my top 8, Tom.
well, I mean, I feel like all social media platforms kind of served a purpose until they didn't.
Like right now.
Then they're serving not a purpose, but dark forces.
Oh, yeah.
Hot take.
Back to the robots.
I was thinking more like my space is your space.
This land is your space. Did you see the video of the robot where now they were showing how there was like this guy just like jumping in the air and like kicking the robot in the back and in the chest, and the robot was able to like stabilize itself and get back and like not fall over like a human.
Oh,
Like
you weak man.
Yeah, it was like they kicked the robot and the robot would
Mortals.
it would fall forward and like catch itself and like, but never fall over. I'm like, what are they showing us? we can't defeat them.
I feel like I watched that movie.
Did it have a certain
There's been a lot of them.
Okay.
Just
cast?
the robot revolution.
Did it have the Fresh Prince?
No disassembled Johnny 5.
Chappie? That was a good one.
Short Circuit. That was the movie I was thinking of.
But Johnny Five was the original Chappie.
I don't know.
You never saw Chappie?
No.
It was like it was like the same guy that was in District 9, like the South African guy. Anyways, it's about the robots.
Check out this movie.
Have you seen the AI like music generator that generated the artist and the song in like under a minute and wrote all the lyrics? It was like in under a minute, like a full pop song, like good
Mixed,
melodies,
mastered, published, performed.
everything in like under a minute.
Was it any good?
I want to say no, but it was. it was a
I saw one that was like an entire band creation that with backstory, album, web presence, everything, and people really liked. I mean, there were definitely people who liked it and enjoyed it, but it was kind of derivative. Mm-hmm. So
pulling from other.
Yeah, it's doable. Like make it sound it sound like this.
Yeah,
and so if that's what somebody's out to do, AI will do that pretty well.
Well, there was a whole market for that. So like that's what you call making music cues for TV or for shows, which I did a lot of that in earlier years.
Not anymore. You're
No,
done.
I know. Well, I still have music that gets placed on different TV shows, but so the big fear for like 10 years from the guys that are like making a living in that field was like AI is going to put everybody, because the music doesn't have to be deep or album ready. It just has to be enough and AI is doing it. So it's I think it's already dead. It has to be.
It's not creativity.
It's not, but a lot of that stuff it's background music, right? So it's how creative does it have to be?
Well, it's a tool. I mean, but so there can be. I don't disagree. I mean, like about it not being maybe pure creativity, and I'm not necessarily like super excited about this, but there is a creative expression using AI as the tool. Mm-hmm. Knowing how to manipulate that tool.
Yeah.
Ask the right questions, give the right commands. And thinking,
so you can use AI creatively to generate an end result,
creative applications or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe you've seen this because I know you've heard about Rick Rubin. You've heard of Rick Rubin.
Oh, of course.
I mean, we've all heard of Rick Rubin. Maybe watched some of the clips, but he was speaking to this. I think he was asked in an interview about AI generated music, and he obviously speaks from a spirit of creativity and authenticity. And he makes the point of, you give 5 AI platforms the same lyrics or
same prompts
and same prompts and everything, and eventually they would create the same answer. But it's very different with humans because we have perspective, and that's something that AI lacks, is its own perspective.
Right.
And that's what's true to the artist. And so like if a movie writer, screenplay writer, whatever, writes the script and gives it to 5 directors, you're going to get 5 very different movies. You know, or you take these lyrics, give it to 5 different musicians or writers, you get 5 very different songs.
You won't even get
Where
the same thing
eventually-
twice, yeah.
But and so the thing that the tool lacks when you're totally dependent on it, just like push and go, is the perspective, because it's just pulling from the same data as.
Also, like that moment in time, I think is what you're saying too, because if we went back, and I think we've said this before, but if we went back and even re-recorded pick a song that we've recorded and released, we couldn't replicate it. I mean, I remember early on when hard drives were not stable in the studio, it was like you didn't have the money to buy a lot of hard drives to back up stuff. It was like, please don't crash, please don't die. And when it did, I remember like recording songs and just hearing them and going, this is it, this is amazing. And then we'd lose the files, or the hard drive would die, and you'd have to go redo it, and you could never get it back to what it was. You couldn't even you couldn't replicate sort of the magic on whatever happened in that moment. So I think that you're talking about
AI lacks it lacks point of view, its own point of view, that it would be able to be creative out of. Or,
yeah, perhaps. I mean, maybe it will get better. Maybe it'll educate itself, and the algorithm will diversify and fake in some of that. Do you know what I mean? Like as it grows and gets better and more intelligent, so to speak, and collects from more areas, it'll go, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to make the same thing twice, and you know what I mean. It will vary itself.
It's a bunch of if then else statements. If this, then this.
Yeah.
It's still widely data driven as opposed to
moment
where our human point of view experience.
Yep.
The whole
Oh, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, I think regardless of how well or not well AI tools create, people should keep creating.
For sure.
So I don't think it changes that.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah, it should never replace. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it might replace consumption of creative things or of art.
What do you mean?
The consumer of those things might prefer or go more in the AI realm or what those tools are creating.
As a fan, like you're saying.
Yeah, just
people
consumer,
like
whatever.
Yeah.
Music listener.
Yeah. Say since we're talking about music, let's say it's music, or I preach, so maybe it's sermons. That you just want to hear, like maybe your favorite preacher died at some point, and they got AI just churning out new sermons from that preacher, and that
which
person,
it can do.
Sure, and that person's voice, and and you really like that, and you really enjoy that, and that's what you want to. That's what you want to consume. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, scripturally, that talks about in the last days that people will turn to what their itching ears want to hear. And it's like on any issue, you could say the other side is doing that. They're big, but I think what the scripture's probably pointing out, the prophecy there is that we have access to whatever we want to hear, however you want to hear it. So you can, and from whatever vantage point or point of view, that you're looking for, you can find support and find the content that you want to reinforce what you already think and believe, and not have anything else challenged.
You're saying the echo chamber.
Yeah, for sure. It's easy to do. So talking about music and AI, wouldn't surprise me if the more derivative, like this is what, like, because there is some of that happening already, like in a certain genres of music. I like this genre of music. I like it when it sounds this way. I like this instrumentation and this range of, rhythm and things of that nature, and vocal stylings. And that's what I'm comfortable in. And I really just want it playing in the background. So that's all I listen to. And so it's just anything that might even be said to be in that genre or by one of those artists that sounds differently is not good. I don't like that. Not me personally, but
Yeah.
that would be a way of thinking that is, I think, really common for a lot of consumers.
So I hear you saying itching ears. Is the itching ears the result of something, or is that the symptom? Like, what is? And I know that's just probably like a metaphor, but like, what is this itching ear? Like, what causes?
Comfort. And we live in a world that has placed an uncomfortable value on comfort. That we've made,
Whoa.
we've made comfort our God, and and so if it's uncomfortable, then it can't be God and it can't be good. If it's uncomfortable, it's bad. If it's uncomfortable, it's wrong. If it's intense or it's emotion or it's troubling or dangerous, it's not good. It's the enemy, and so we medicate that, in lots of ways. Medicate the mass. Like some people they've critiqued religion that way, and I think it was Marx, said religion's the opium of the masses, and I would just say, of course it is. It's not all it is, but it can be, and it has definitely used that way to kind of placate the people and control them, and put them in a cloud, whatever. Yes, but that's certainly not all it is, and there can be much more. But this idea of like, I am searching for comfort, and anything that disrupts that or makes me uncomfortable then is the enemy and is wrong. So
It's
if
not of God, or
God's
not
we'll
in
blame
it.
it on
Yeah,
God.
yeah. If I'm uncomfortable, God's not in it. Or
If it challenge, like, so it's kind of like if you're reading the Bible and you have a strong viewpoint on a doctrinal issue, for instance, and you have it all figured out, and you read a scripture that doesn't line up with that, and somebody who disagrees with you would maybe point to that particular scripture or passage and go, okay, well, what about this? And so you've got a whole justification and reason around why you've kind of we've got to figure it out, because it can't possibly hold it in tension and be like, oh, God doesn't necessarily want us to figure this out, because that makes us uncomfortable. And since comfort's our God, then we have to have everything figured out. So every doctrinal question, every question about God, every place where Scripture is held in tension, we just make up some kind of reason to say, oh, no, it's this. What the author here was really saying was this. And because of this, it's that. And every question is somehow like magically answered, but it's all in the name of, I just want to be comfortable that I have it all figured out and that I'm right. When the reality is you don't. You definitely don't. And I promise you, if you have every question about God answered, then you've created a God in your own image. Because there are many beautiful, wonderful mysteries about God and many uncomfortable things. And he challenges us and calls us to do things that are contrary to our flesh and our human nature. So if nothing's doing that, then I've probably turned and just looking for what my itching ears want to hear, and I'm getting fat on that.
Looking for that comfort. Do you think that the word masses has any significance in that quote? Because in the thing of like groupthink, or is that still true for like individuals, or like religion being, was it the opium of the masses? Do you think masses has any significance in that quote?
Yeah, because I think you're at that point you're wanting to know, okay, who's manipulating the tool? If religion is the tool, then who's the one manipulating the tool, and to what end? So it happens. I mean, so for instance, an obvious one culturally for us that would be really troubling and might make some people really uncomfortable to think about would be to reckon, it's not new, it's been going on for a long time, that politics is manipulating the tool of religion to an end game that serves what their goal is. So that's very real and very true. If you're not able to think critically and are willing to examine that and go, where is this happening and what does it mean and why is that going on, then that's where the word masses, I think, kind of comes into play. Is, well, okay, at that point, I'm probably just in the masses, and as long as it's comfortable, then I'm cool.
Right.
But if it gets uncomfortable, then I'm not cool, because it's wrong. So at that point, then I'm the tool that's being manipulated.
And then masses are typically manipulated easily by fear.
That's that's a great tool. That is one of the tools.
And that's
Very
where
common.
masses will huddle around fear.
common one.
Yeah, because fear is the antithesis of comfort, and if religion can solve the issue of,
Well, it's the fear of not being comfortable, and so
Could be that
high
too.
alert, very protective of that.
Right.
All the while, and then that plays out and is expressed in the masses to where you are the one that is
even fear of not
you
being
are
part of the
manipulator.
masses,
Yeah.
right? Like where am I? Where do I stand? Having to like try to put yourself in some kind of concrete boots,
Don't shake the tree of my comfort.
Right.
You're bad.
right? So fear being one of them. I wonder what else.
There are positive ones too. I mean, love, beauty. I mean, when we think about art, I mean, and manipulation doesn't necessarily mean bad. So I want to be clear on that.
Well, what is manipulation? It's like changing something, right?
It's or to use something. So if I have a screwdriver, the screwdriver serves no purpose until I manipulate the tool.
Right.
Now I can use it as a chisel, and that might be an abuse of the tool that might break the tool. Or I could, take a Phillips head screwdriver and put it in a Phillips head screw and tighten it or loosen it, which would be a really good use of that manipulation of that tool.
Right.
But they're both manipulations.
Right.
I could take a screwdriver and stab someone in the eye socket. That'd be a bad manipulation of that particular tool, one that would cause damage and hurt. So to manipulate, we usually think of it in a negative connotation, and I don't think that. But I think it is important to realize how you're being manipulated and to what end, and then make some decisions on that to go, oh, is that what I want? Is that, I mean, if you're a follower of Jesus, is that what God wants? That would be the big question. Is that what he desires of me? Or is this being done in his name to accomplish something else?
So we're saying another, almost like a different version of the quote could be religion is a manipulation of the masses.
Yeah, it's not true to what the intent of the quote was.
Right,
Yeah,
because that was opium, and then
The
opium
intent was to placate and just
to numb,
to numb them so that they're
or to pleasure them,
either easier to be controlled. Not so much pleasure, again, just to kind of
dull. Yeah,
Bring the comfort.
keep them under control. I think that's what
yeah. I was trying to
the
correlate
critique
opium.
of religion in that particular construct was meant to do. But circling back to the what AI can do or not do, or how we experience that, that I just think it's really crucial to be aware that discomfort is not the enemy, and that there are many things in this life and in this world that are uncomfortable. But as we know, like creators, artists, where are you pulling inspiration? It's always from the discomfort.
Yeah,
I've never made anything I was particularly proud of that came out of comfort.
yeah. There's some angst. There's some pain. There's some
Doubt, confusion.
yeah.
Like the discomfort is to be human.
So I'm like leaning into that, not running away from it.
I think it's also to be a follower of Jesus, in this
Yeah, like picking up the cross.
world you will have trouble.
Yep.
Yeah. And why, I mean, like, take up your cross and lay down your life, take up your cross. Why is he just telling us to take crosses? Because we're following the guy that laid his life down on one. And if we think it's just, he's going to stand up for my personal rights or something and liberty, some other thing, that's a gross perversion of a gospel that has power to utterly transform the world. And I won't settle for it, and I don't think anybody else should.
Yeah. There were no bumper stickers on the cross.
I don't think so. With discomfort, so another piece of that, I think it's really important that, and it depends on who you are and where you are, but like for some, like in the world that I navigate, my friends, family members, neighbors, coworkers, like the cultural context that I find myself in, it's really crucial that me and people in my particular socioeconomic demographic be told no. It's a real felt need, because there's people who are never told no in life, and they
No is uncomfortable.
it's so uncomfortable, and they don't know how to handle it. And because if they're told no, they just get it anyway. They get whatever they want, however they want it. And,
Right.
And be like, I can say that broad strokes, but talking to an individual, that'd probably be really difficult to hear and process. But I know it's true of me, and that's something I've been thinking about for years now. Like when I'm told no, when I feel that rise inside of me, like, who do you think you are? Do you know who I am? Or how dare you tell me? It's like, oh man, I need to be told no. Like, I need this right now. So I'm going to take it. And I'm not going to go out and find another way to get what I think I want or need or deserve or I've earned or whatever other nonsense. I'm just going to live in the no. That's something we need. But then it's harder and harder, I think, for people to tell people no because of
the blowback of that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, like we lead in a church, and when people don't get what they want, they say the same things all the time. It's nothing new. They've been doing it forever. The first thing, and this is, they'll go, I've been giving money to this church for however long. You're like, all right, and I get it. Like it's like, all right, so you're invested or whatever, and then it's like, I'm not giving another dime because I didn't get what I wanted, or I disagree with something. Well, that's just the way of this world. That's how you know you're dealing with somebody who that's a very real problem. If they don't get what they want, they use money as leverage. And
if they feel uncomfortable, they want you to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, so I'm not going to do it. And it's like a threat.
Yeah.
Give me what I want or I'm not going to do this. And it's like, that's okay. You can make that choice. And then that's removed and it's like, well, okay, well then I can't be a part of this anymore. So it's the threat of disengagement. And if you can't just say, that's fine. Love you and you're always welcome. But if you want to do something else, that's totally fine. Once we remove the threat, that's a gift to people.
Right.
That's not being mean. That's kindness. Being mean would be like, oh no, please don't. Tell me what you want. We'll adjust. We'll adapt.
Yeah.
Well, it's like,
give you your way.
Yeah, there's enough of that already. Our itching ears have access to whatever we want to hear. So if you're not giving it to me, I can go somewhere else and get it. Yes, you can. And if that's what you choose to do, but I'm still not going to give that to you. That's kindness. So could we have an AI-generated song that might make Shiloh Battles, pop on the charts or whatever it is the kids are saying these days? I don't know. Like to go viral or have our moment or whatever. Yeah. Could we do that? Maybe. But why?
I think for me that would make me uncomfortable.
I suppose it depends on what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
If you're and that's not to say that wanting to have a platform or be famous or God can use that. He may lead somebody to that. So I'm not even calling that into question in another. It's just, is that what he's doing in me? Is that what he's doing in you? If that's not what he's doing in us, then we're not going to use the tool for that.
Right.
Just make sure you're using the tool for what you're intended to use it for.
We talked about this in the last episode. We talked about the laws of attraction. Like when you're chasing something, it's sort of running from you. I think to what your point was about like writing and songs and maybe we could use AI, but or like maybe fame or things like that. I feel like I'm most effective in anything I'm doing when my end goal is not when some kind of desired result is not my motivation. Does that make sense? Like if I'm not like, hey, I want to make this song, for an example, hey, I want to make this song and I want it to be sung by everybody all around the world and I want everybody to know it. And I want it to be like going into that creative expression with that end goal to me is like chasing something. But it's sort of like when you don't necessarily have any predisposed agenda besides to just create. That's when I think those things can happen. And I think that may be a principle that's true across the board. And like when you want the thing so bad, then it affects how you interact with whatever's around you in that, you know what I'm saying? Like almost like the guy going for the job interview. He wants it so bad, and he comes in and he's overperforming and he's over talking or he's over, you know, like what?
Well, or he might say things about himself that are not true.
Correct.
Right.
Gets the job and isn't able to perform the functions of the job.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's bad for everybody.
Right.
Yeah, I know I've met a number of people that would call themselves songwriters where it's all about, if there's no reward at the end of starting this song or writing this song, then why are we doing it? Because at some point there's got to be some reward.
I gotta get paid for this or something, you know.
and when our minds are fixated on what that outcome could be, which is purely imaginary, and then I think we do rob ourselves. We rob ourselves of the passion that's developed in the work. You know, passion isn't necessarily something I believe that you begin with. You may begin with great intentions and a good idea and a great vision for what it could be on the other end, but if you're not willing to, but usually those good intentions render you defeated because it never pans out the perfect way that you had envisioned it to go. And passion is something that as you work on it and as you labor in it and you wear the scars of it and the highs and the lows and the joys of it, you know, and you're still doing it, you know, that's where passion, I think is found and discovered and realized. It's like, wow, I am passionate about this. I'm still invested in the work. I don't know the outcome. I'm not doing it for no reason, but I'm doing it for the reason of, what is my reason? Is my motivation my reason because of what the reward might be on the other end of this song being good to somebody else? Like, really? Or is the reward of, wow, being interested and gifted to write songs and be a part of this collaboration, and is that the gift, and we can enjoy his presence and in the spirit of writing and being creative and being present in creativity, like that's the joy and the pain and the yes, and it's worth that. Okay, great. And we're not looking to satisfy an outcome, we're looking to,
It's love.
I mean, I experience this tension acutely, based on not being perceived as being musical. So if somebody's like, "Hey, what are you up to? What are you excited about? What are you enjoying?" and I'm like, "Oh man, we're making music and doing," and they're like, they look at me like I have three heads and like, "What do you?" And they're like, "Wait, what are you saying?" You know, and then I'm like, "Oh well, you know," and I try to describe this dynamic, and it's not getting anywhere. And they'll ask a question like, "Well, why would you do that? You know, what's the end game? What are you trying to do with that?" And it's a very pragmatic way of looking at things. And this would be, you know, acquaintances, close friends, and family. I mean, like it doesn't make sense. Like, if I'm going to write a novel, why would you write that? What do you intend on doing with that? You know, I'm going to write a poem. Why would you do?
How dare you creatively express?
No, it's not. It's confusion.
It's confusion. Gotcha.
Yeah, because, well, really, everything in my life has always pointed to, you know, specific things. Like there is, I mean, you could look at it and go, "Oh, I'm doing this for this reason." How would you use that?
What are you gonna do with it?
What are you going to do with it? Those types of things. I'm like, well, I'm going to make it, and that's troubling.
Make it beautiful.
That's uncomfortable because it doesn't line up. So, but that does line up with who we are as people, as humans. Like you think about children and play. You know, you start off like coloring in a coloring book because, you know, or drawing, you know, stick figures or, you know, birds and trees and grass and the sun. And you're doing all that, but then you go into school and now you're drawing on paper and now you're getting a grade on it. And so there's, what does the teacher want? What gets me the grade I want? What do my parents want me to get? So these factors start to play in. That's
Conforming,
part of the dynamic. Well, you're grown up, yeah. So you're using it for something. Same with sports, like kicking a ball or playing catch, having a catch, or enjoying being on a team or playing a sport. Well, you see how quickly that can turn from enjoying playing a sport to being good at a sport to being a starter in a sport to can you make a living in this sport, like to where you have kids, you know, in youth sports who people are thinking about college scholarships, you know, and they're like 10.
Yeah.
And like there's no there's not much as much. No, some thrive in that, and they may really enjoy that. So I'm not totally like ripping it apart, but like play
Yeah.
can get lost, and we can take play and turn it into work.
Can we take it one step further? Because I'm thinking about the disciples who did not understand what Jesus was talking about and up to during the Passion Week, right?
Yeah.
Which the resurrection is a part of that, right? But everything that he would go through, how passion was realized and worth it, but they didn't understand. They're like, well, why would you do that? What are you talking about? And the confusion, because not being able to understand what's the get and why would that be the plan? It just seemed so confusing, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of what Jesus was not only talking about, but then walking through during that week.
Well, yeah. To that point, that
in
was
his ministry.
To the whole point of like changing the agenda. Like they were going. We're gonna reach the world with this message, and how is this going to help us do that? You know what I'm saying? Like right before the Passion Week, where they were talking about, hey, we're going to go to the Greeks, and the Greeks are going to help us disseminate this message, and Jesus was like, well, we're not going to do that right now, and then like kind of led into what you're saying about the Passion Week. So it was like maybe they wanted the same goal, but didn't understand.
Like, what do you
the
mean?
Process.
What do you mean you're going?
You're going to die? What?
Coming back? Like, what? Why?
You said something really, really cool. You both said something really cool that sparked a thought for me. You said something about the love of like doing it. Essentially, what I was hearing you say about the process with writing was about doing it out of a place of love, not out of a place of get.
Well, if you're doing it, it's got to be worth it.
I heard the word passion too.
It was passion.
Passion, which I'm translating into
And
love.
I
because
feel like passion is what you develop in the process.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. You're walking through the objective, but you don't know what that's going to look like along the way. Right. And as you've got to navigate that journey and that work and that path, like to continue to be doing it, and you see results and you experience the joys through it, but you also experience the pains and things along the way. That develops a passion as opposed to just the good intentions of like, oh, if I do this, then this could be the end result. If it goes this perfect path that I have in my mind, and it doesn't work like that.
And you
That's
can't,
not
and
passion.
you can't do that
That's
without
a good idea,
right,
and good intention.
And you can't do it without a love for the thing, because love lets.
Sure, I mean, there's vision, and you believe that there's.
Bo, you mentioned kids at play, and my thought when Dan was talking about that was having a kid. We all have kids here. The three of us have children. Like the child's born, and you go, "That's going to be a doctor. He's going to be a this."
Oh, they got the fingers of a piano player.
Well, it's like how loving is it to take that child from birth and predetermine what it's going to do as a result of you raising that child? That to me leans towards what I want from a result there. And love is going to nurture and allow this child to grow, and you're going to go, oh, okay, wow, that sounds amazing. Or wow, look what they're doing now. And you're going to allow that child to blossom in what might be organically placed in that child already. And that was what came to mind as we were talking about the just art in general was, yeah, each song is like a child. Like it's sort of born in some way, but if we try to go, okay, it's going to be this and it has to be that, or, it's, and true love is going to let,
Well, I mean, Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's referring to the child's unique personality bent. So who is she? Get to know your child.
Mm-hmm.
Get to know who she is, how she's wired, what she's called to, and then help direct and make a pathway for those things, which is very different than some of the predetermined outcomes that we think about. So, I mean, we use some extremes like doctor or pianist or whatever, but we could even do it in terms of being successful.
Right.
Yeah. Well, what does that look like? Like I have a child who's involved in nursing, and she's a nurse assistant right now, which is the hardest job I have ever heard of in my entire life.
Right.
and I think she's really good at it. And knowing her like I do, it doesn't surprise me that she would be really good at it. She's wired for it, and I've shared with her like, hey, if you want an RN, if you want to do those things, and that's a draw that you have, by all means. But there is also nothing wrong with choosing. I mean, if this is who you are and choosing to do this role that other people don't want to do, that's powerful and beautiful and needed, and other people won't call it success or whatever.
Right.
But I would call it a success for you all day long if that's who you are and what you want to do. Now, if you want to do something else, I'm for you and can help make pathways and do that. But I mean, like, so I think that's some in creativity and some of the things that we're talking about, like kids at play, there's a purity in that. And then our world and we pervert it. And that's okay. Like, we're navigating the world. We're living. We're trying to figure it out and everything. But as much as we can come back to some of the purity of art and expression and beauty and life and fun and joy, I think people will, and discomfort, to circle back to that, I think we'll find the abundant life that Jesus promised us, versus a more opium of the masses, placated life, follow the God of comfort.